In dreams, some people believe that the details are important. The number of steps leading up to a house are important. They have some sort of meaning. The shade of the blinds on the outside window have meaning. The color of the dog's teeth that are slowly melting into butter, that is important. In fantasies, however, oftentimes the details are not important. It's just about a general feeling that one is getting from the fantasy, like perhaps a feeling of joy, or a feeling of wonder, or a feeling of merriment, which is like joy, I guess, or a feeling of bravery, like one can overcome the odds. And that sort of distillation of fantasy is what one gets from the board game Return of the Heroes. Return of the Heroes is fantasy stripped away to its basic core. It's generic. The world doesn't even pretend to have a name or any particular culture other than that it's fantasy world that you're moving around in. You have your basic fantasy types. You have your dwarf, you have your wizard, you have your male wizard, you have your female fighter, male fighter, female elf, male elf, cleric, and they're not that different from each other, and they have names, but very little else does. You have a ranger in the game. There's a temple in the game, but it's not a temple of Gorlamath, the god of holy teeth. It's just temple. Even the big horrible villain is called simply the Nameless, and it works. The game doesn't I don't want to say waste your time, but it doesn't clutter your brain with facts about the king's daughter's dog's name or the lineage that went behind particular wizard in Hut B. It just gets right down to it. There's a kingdom. It doesn't really even matter what's adjacent to what in that kingdom. You can even move where things are around in the game. And there's something threatening the kingdom, and the heroes are returning to save everything. And that name, Return of the Heroes, to me says that the game's something like it's hearkening back to a time of fantasy that I think never even existed. It's this eternal notion of the good old days, which never were. There never really were good old days. But we all have built into ourselves, I think, this desire for this time when it was better than it is right now. So here we have a Return of the Heroes character card. This is the elf card. On one side is a male elf who is commanding, and on the other side is a female elf who has just done something really great with her bow. Other than their picture, they are the same statistically, stat-wise. So I'm kind of scared of the male elf because I don't know what he's doing. But so we'll have it on the female elf side. Her name's Eleanor. And I will tell you what all these little bits are. So over here we have their life. She would have three stones on there. I have all the other guys set up. See how they have stones? That's how you keep track of their life, their glass. If they have any kind of armor, they get extra stones here. These don't heal naturally. And in fact, I don't think you can fix this in this game, though you can in expansions. This is their starting gold, so she would have 2 of these things. This is her movement. That's how many spaces she can move. This is the place to put the special rocks that come with the game, which are nice components. And here are her main combat stats, which she will use to do trials. So we have the blue, the green, the red. They don't really do anything different from each other, even though one's ranged, one's melee, and one's magic. except certain monsters give you penalties for attacking them in certain ways, and certain monsters you can't attack unless you are using a particular color. And here we have a 4-player standard game setup. We are playing with the male wizard, the female fighter, the male cleric, who is very sweaty. I want you to take a look at this guy. And actually, this is a good time to talk about the pictures of this game. The character drawings are very nice. I like them a lot. They are suitably generic, and yet have some flavor. They look like they're actual people. The other art in the game, if you look at it up close, it's really reminiscent to me of playing one of those first-person RPGs from the late 90s, maybe mid-90s. I'm really bad with my video game years. On a computer, like so. There's an example. That's one of the character cards. And I think that actually kind of works. It's distracting. It's kind of annoying, but it has that kind of generic, I'm in a fantasy role-playing feel that really works with this game. So here's the cleric, the male cleric, and this is his little house here. Since he wants it the most, he gets to go first, and he is going to move 4 spaces, and he'll just go right here, and he'll go boom. You flip that tile over, and here we have a battle. Fights in this game are rather simple affairs. They involve rolling from 2 to 5 of these dice, and how you determine how many dice you roll is how experienced your character is. Now, since our male cleric really worked himself up into a lather when we weren't looking, he got a lot of experience, which is represented by these cubes. Now, all experience does is, as your experience moves up this track, you can roll more dice for that particular statistic. So our target number is right here, 6, and he's going to compare any 2 dice, and if any 2 of his dice are 6 or less, he has beaten the spider. And so here we have a 4, a 5, a 3, and a 1. He'll take the 1 and a 5 because he really wants to cut it close. He likes to work for it, which is 6, which is equal to or less than 6, and so the spider is defeated. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the spider counter and get the reward, which says he gets another blue experience. This time he actually earned it rather than just getting excited, and he gets a red experience cube. So battle is just one of the clever mechanics that makes this game work as a generic RPG. The other clever mechanic, another one, is whenever you take with a few exceptions, whenever you take a tile off the map, you're going to be drawing another tile to replace it. So we drew Gasconnier, and Gasconnier, it says he goes to J3, which J is the castle plate right here, so he's going to go right here. And he is a trainer. And we put the spider back into the bag. Female fighter's turn. She can move 4, so she's going to go 1, 2, and she's going to turn this up and see what that is. Ooh, it's a quest tile. I can tell by the blue border. So she's going to accept that quest, which says, find Don Hobiro. He instructs you in ranged combat. And she'll get some bonuses to her stats when she finds him. So we'll put it right in her quest location here. And the stat bonuses will actually increase the number here rather than give her cubes. So that's good for her because it will help her green stat, her range stat, which is very low. And so that's great. So our characters are moving around the board right now, getting into fights, going on quests. Why are they doing that? That's a really good question. The reason why is because they want to go to the king and get one of these quest cards, these extra special quest cards, that if they complete the quest, they'll get a magic stone that allows them to battle the guards of the Nameless monster who is in one of the tiles back there. Once someone completes the first part of the mega quest, then the Nameless goes into the bag, and the game kind of picks up the pace, because as soon as the Nameless tile is drawn, he's in his castle, and these monster servants come out, and you stop recycling tiles into the bag. So you can kind of control the pace of the game based on how well you're doing. So the gist of the game is you're moving around doing heroic quests, trying to build yourself up until you feel like you're ready to go all in with the Nameless, the big bad guy. Because once you attack the Nameless, it's a one-way trip, either to victory or to death. The quests and things you can do while being generic are fun enough, and they give the game flavor, which is interesting because it is kind of generic. Don Habiro, he has a name, that's great. This shadowy thing without a name. A bow. A lot of the items are just kind of like, they give you a plus something to something. This is a +2 to ranged, which if you're expecting special powers, this game is sparse in that department. We can look at the character cards here as an example. The wizard's main ability is that he can find certain types of secret passageways a little better than other people. He's also very good at spending time at home because of his health. See, he's going to have to rest a lot. The fighter has no special abilities except she's just got good numbers. You know, she can move fairly decently and good in the red statistic. The cleric can't heal. All he can do is he can get to the temple and to the White Village, 2 healing places, easier than most. The dwarf is slow. She can find mountain passageways. So if powers and things like that are what you're expecting, you may be disappointed by this game. It's not what it's about. It's about the efficient telling of a fantasy tale. For what it is, it's quick, it's clean, it's a cleverly run romp through a world where the heroes have returned. Return of the Heroes!